ever pondered about the Citizenship Amenment Act and what it entails? This piece of legislation, known commonly as the CAA, is a significant legal provision enacted by the Indian government. Its inception has sparked intense discussions and debates across the country and beyond. So, what exactly is the Citizenship Amenment Act? In essence, it is designed to provide citizenship to specific minority communities hailing from neighboring countries. This act serves as a beacon of hope to those who have faced religious persecution in their homelands, offering them a chance to start anew in the world's largest democracy, India. It's a complex piece of legislation with layers of implications and interpretations. But fear not, we are here to simplify it for you, to help you understand the nuances of this intricate act. Now, let's delve deeper into the specifics of this act. Stay tuned as we unpack the objectives, mechanics, myths, controversies, and the larger impact of the Citizenship Amenment Act. So, what exactly does the Citizenship Amenment Act aim to achieve? A question that's been on many minds, and today we're going to delve into it. The Citizenship Amenment Act, or the CAA, has a primary objective that's fairly straightforward. It seeks to grant Indian citizenship to persecuted minorities who have fled three specific countries: Afghanistan, Bangladesh, and Pakistan, and have been living in India on or before December 31st, 2014. Now, you might be asking, who are these minorities? Well, the Act specifically names 6 religious groups. These are Hindus, Sikhs, Buddhists, Jains, Parsis, and Christians. The idea behind this is to provide a safe haven for these individuals who have faced religious persecution in their home countries, offering them the opportunity to start afresh as Indian citizens. But it's important to note that the Act doesn't just grant citizenship willy-nilly. There's a process involved. The applicants have to fulfill certain requirements, and only then can they be considered for citizenship. Of course, this process is not without its complexities, and we'll be diving into those in a later scene. In essence, the CAA is a humanitarian gesture, an act of inclusivity, to welcome those who have nowhere else to go, those who have faced oppression and hardship in their home countries because of their faith. It's about extending a hand of friendship, of brotherhood to those in need. However, like any other piece of legislation, the CAA has its share of controversies and debates, which we will be discussing later. But at its core, the Act is about granting citizenship to those who have been denied the basic rights in their home countries and have sought solace on Indian soil. Now that we understand its objective, let's move on to how the Act works. So stay tuned as we unpack the mechanics of the Citizenship Amenment Act in our next segment. How does the Citizenship Amenment Act function in practice? This is a question that many of us have pondered. So let's delve into the operational aspects of this act. The Citizenship Amenment Act, or the CAA, seeks to amend the definition of illegal immigrants for Hindu, Sikh, Buddhist, Jain, Parsi, and Christian immigrants from Afghanistan, Bangladesh, and Pakistan. These individuals must have been residing in India on or before December 31st, 2014. It's essential to note that the Act doesn't automatically confer Indian citizenship upon these individuals. Rather, it's a pathway to apply for it. So how does one apply for Indian citizenship under the CAA? Well, the process is quite similar to the general naturalization method. The applicant needs to submit a form along with the necessary documents to the Foreigners Division of the Ministry of Home Affairs. The form should include details like their current address, the duration of their stay in India, and evidence of their religious affiliation. Once the application is received, the authorities conduct a thorough background check. This involves verifying the authenticity of the documents submitted and ensuring that the applicant doesn't pose a security threat to the country. If the application passes this stage, the person is granted a certificate of registration or naturalization, thereby officially becoming an Indian citizen. The CAA also introduces a significant change in the naturalization period for these specific minorities. Earlier, one needed to have resided in India for at least 11 years to be eligible for naturalization. But the CAA reduces this period to 5 years, making it somewhat easier for these immigrants to obtain Indian citizenship. While the Act does aim to provide relief to persecuted minorities, it's important to remember that the process isn't as straightforward as it might seem. It's a lengthy and complex procedure that requires careful navigation. With this understanding of the Act's mechanics, let's look at some common misconceptions. Are there myths surrounding the Citizenship Amendment Act? Absolutely. But fear not, we're here to shed light on these misconceptions and arm you with the truth. One of the most common misconceptions is that the CAA is anti-Muslim. This couldn't be further from the truth. The Act, in fact, is not about religion at all. It's about providing a safe haven for persecuted minorities from 3 specific neighboring countries. Yes, it does specify Hindus, Sikhs, Buddhists, Jains, Parsis, and Christians from Afghanistan, Bangladesh, and Pakistan. However, this is because these groups have been historically targeted in these countries. It's important to note that the Act does not bar Muslims from these countries, or any other country, from applying for Indian citizenship through the usual legal channels. Another prevalent myth is that the Act threatens the citizenship of existing Indian citizens. Again, this is a misunderstanding. The CAA is about granting citizenship to those who have been living in India without any formal recognition or rights. It does not, and I repeat, does not have the power to take away anyone's citizenship. Let's put it this way. It's about adding names to the family album, not erasing them. Some also believe that the Act will lead to an influx of immigrants, potentially straining resources and infrastructure. While it's true that the Act may lead to an increase in the number of citizenship applications, it's also true that the Indian government has systems in place to manage this. Remember, these are people who have already been living in India, often for years, without access to basic rights or services. The Act, in essence, acknowledges their presence and their contributions to our society. So there you have it. The CAA is not anti-Muslim, it does not threaten existing citizenship, and it is not a free pass for unlimited immigration. It's about providing a pathway to citizenship for those who have suffered and found refuge in our country. Armed with the truth, we can now address some controversies surrounding the Act. The Citizenship Amendment Act has sparked significant controversy and protest. But why? Let's delve into it. The Act's primary contention lies in its alleged discriminatory nature. Critics argue that the Act, by specifically excluding Muslims, violates the Indian Constitution's essence, which guarantees the right to equality and secularism. It's viewed as an attempt to marginalize Muslims, further exacerbating religious tensions in the country. Another concern is the Act's potential to render a significant number of people stateless. The Act, coupled with the National Register of Citizens, could leave many without citizenship if they can't provide sufficient documentation. A challenge for those living in poverty or in areas with poor record keeping. Furthermore, critics point out that the Act fails to consider persecuted minorities from other neighboring countries, such as the Rohingya from Myanmar or the Ahmadiyya from Pakistan, thereby questioning the Act's claim to be a humanitarian effort. These controversies have sparked widespread protests across India. From college campuses to city streets, diverse groups of Indians have come together, raising their voices against what they perceive as an unjust law. These protests have been marked by their unity and inclusivity, with people of different religions, ages, and backgrounds standing shoulder to shoulder. However, it's important to note that these protests have also been met with resistance. The use of force by authorities in some instances has further inflamed tensions, leading to a cycle of protests and crackdowns that continue to rock the country. The Citizenship Amendment Act has undoubtedly stirred the pot of India's complex socio-political landscape. It has brought to the fore deep-seated issues about identity, citizenship, and religious harmony. But it has also sparked a renewed spirit of activism and unity among the Indian populace. Despite the controversies, it's crucial to understand the Act in its entirety. By doing so, we can engage in informed discussions, challenge misconceptions, and ultimately contribute to the shaping of a more inclusive and harmonious society. We've journeyed through the intricacies of the Citizenship Amenment Act together. We've uncovered its objectives, aiming to provide a fast track to Indian citizenship for persecuted minorities from certain neighboring countries. We've delved into its mechanics, revealing a complex but structured process, shedding light on its multi-tiered approach to safeguarding the rights of these individuals. We've also dispelled common misconceptions, clarifying that the Act does not strip away the citizenship of existing Indian nationals, nor does it discriminate based on religion. Yet, we've acknowledged the controversies and protests that the Act has ignited, reflecting the divergent views and concerns within our society. In essence, the Citizenship Amenment Act, like any law, is a balancing act between humanitarian concerns and national interests. It's a testament to the vibrant democracy we live in, where laws can be debated, protested, and potentially refined over time. Remember, understanding is the first step to informed discussion and decision-making. Until next time, stay curious and keep learning.